show. We are live here at Let It Fire Sports Bar in downtown Omaha. I'm with Austin Chapman. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. How are you?
How did it feel to be part of all of those wins today? Hold on, we're getting a little feedback there. There we go. Okay. How did it feel to be a part of all of, well, I shouldn't say all, huge chunk of those MAC wins when he set the record tonight?
It was great. Just had a good group of supporting cast as well. Always had good chemistry, and I think Mac just, always just a strong leader. And 15 years of that is dedication to the sport and to his craft. And I think, Omaha's very appreciative of it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Welcome to the show. It's the Bluejay Banter Postgame Show. If you haven't joined us before, thanks for joining us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe and like button. It helps us out a ton. Tonight, our guest, Sami Osmani, you got it in the game there late. So it's good to see Sami out there, and we're going to talk to him here in a few minutes. And also Lucas Vargas, who's video coordinator. And we had Lucas on a couple times last year, and it was an interesting chat with him on the video preparation and what they do. And I think, especially for me, I have some questions about teams that, like Houston Christian, there's only been a couple games. You haven't seen a lot. Mm-hmm. How do you prepare? What do you glean from all that work that you do and get it to Mac and the coaches so they can break it down and get the best game plan going? We were talking before we got on, first 10, 12 minutes were a little slow.
Yeah, it was
tough sledding.
Absolutely. It was real rough. I think we were real slow, stagnant. I think we're still having some tough time getting to the hole, creating some driving lanes. But, as the season progresses, I think they'll figure out and get their legs under them.
I would take this positive away. We've now seen 3 totally different defensive schemes against us. Like tonight, Kalk was getting doubled every single time he had the ball. And we hadn't, versus Rio Grande, who just said, hey, we're not going to let you shoot threes. If you want to try and dump it inside, fine. We'll kind of, prevent that, but our main focus is not to let you in the perimeter.
Yep. And I think that's always been our MO is live and die by the 3. And I think some teams either you cut it off or, you let us, get to the rim. So
yeah.
I mean, big fella,
we shot a pretty good percentage tonight.
Decent.
What were we from 3? 33%. So, but it wasn't horrible. I thought, and we had some stretches in there. Jackson, I know fans haven't seen much of him yet.
Right.
I'm telling you what, this is, and you could just tell by him. He's just like, man, I've never, ever had a night like this shooting it. Mm-hmm. He is an elite shooter. He was just having one of those nights.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. He's just still trying to get his legs, too. Young and just getting his rhythm. I think it's going to take a little time. It's a faster-paced game. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think it's just going to take a little bit. But I'm excited to see what he does the rest of the season. Yeah,
he had 5 rebounds, though. Yeah. Nice job there.
30 plus minus, so I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. Although everybody's plus minus look pretty good.
Yeah, that's fine.
The other thing I noticed a couple of times, it was good to have that double team to get this on film for Kalk too, because I thought a couple of times he got rid of the ball really quick and didn't allow to look for that open guy because he always dumped it back out to Pop, and then that's what they did. They slid all the coverage over that way, and maybe he'd gone out to the point to Ash or whatever, or cross court, something else would have broke. And then, then he can wheel around and we can hit him on the other side too.
Yeah,
but that's just not having seen really that hard double coming. They were the first team that really did that. So it'll be interesting. The next game against Kansas City, a team that's projected to win the Summit at their media day. They just played Iowa State. Iowa State handled them pretty good, but it'll be interesting to see, the coaches can get that tape.
Right.
Against Iowa State. We scrimmaged Iowa State, so they'll have some baseline to go off of.
Absolutely. Film kind of, gives you that upper hand sometimes, and I think we'll talk to Lucas a little about what that does. But
yeah,
I think they did a great job though, tonight with that double. As you said, Kalk was a little early getting out that double, but I think he started to ease into it as we saw and started to split the double and just take his time, which,
Such that thing, too, is it's such a huge size advantage.
Absolutely.
My goodness.
Yep.
I think they went 6'6", maybe.
Right. I think he had a 6'5" guy on him at a point, but and I think that was too a little weird on the double when you got a smaller guy.
Yeah.
Two smaller guys generally that's a little tougher for the big to kind of deal with. But
that had to be really strange for him. Used to all the big East bodies coming at him, and then you see that.
Right.
What was I heard some football guys talk about this, so I thought this is interesting to bring up to you. What was it like? Let's say after a loss, when the team didn't particularly play well, and you're going into that film session the next day. Like,
I think as Jay kind of touched on last game, there'd be some spirited practices. We'll say that. You would hear it from everybody, Gordy, Lutz, the whole crew generally, but those film sessions generally were sometimes longer than practice. Generally we were shooting the ball fairly decent, and a lot of times it was a defensive end. So it was generally spending a good hour and a half just watching defensive clips and seeing how everybody could be better and help the next man. So,
did you ever walk into one of those, or maybe you had a breakdown or something happened in the game, not generally caused you the loss, but certainly one of the 6 key plays that helped it? That night you go to bed thinking, oh, man, tomorrow on film they're going to bring this up.
Oh, yeah.
And are you sitting there just like, okay, they haven't done it yet.
Yep.
And it's coming? How
Absolutely.
tough is that?
It's pretty tough. A lot of times, too, you never feel you're in the wrong. But until you see it on film, then you're like, well, I can't argue with you. But it's just also, too, about getting better, and handling that constructive criticism, I think is huge. And after a while, we just wanted to get better. So not taking things harshly was huge on us, and I think that was the only thing that helped us get better.
At what point did you really, what year did you really okay, the film session's really going to help me, rather than, oh, God, I hope they don't show this play? How long did that take for you?
It didn't take that long for me because I actually would watch film in high school a lot, and I honestly got better from it. Like I said, just a lot of cognitive dissonance really in a lot of that too, where until I actually see it, it's like, okay, well, maybe I need to improve here. So I just like to learn too, like you said, and just the coaches are always just trying to put us in a better position. So a lot of that too was just putting the ego to the side, pride to the side, and seeing how we can get better. But there were days that you just didn't want to hear it either, and you just kind of wanted to roll the balls out and just play some old school basketball. But it's the logistics things too to win championships.
We have one more Kansas City, quote unquote buy game, and then we get into it with Nebraska, the Vegas tournament, Kansas, Alabama. Was this particular, when you say you didn't want to hear it, was this particular part of the season one of those where you're just like, look, let's get into this? Yeah,
I guess that's tough to hear, generally too, because you're just battling against the guys, and then it's, well, let's get the next week, right? And you can kind of see it too. I think in some of the guys are not maybe moving at 100% and playing at the highest level yet, which I think Pop is kind of one of those guys that kind of turns it on here and there, and I think he's still trying to get a rhythm as well. But I think when the lights are going to come on, we're going to kind of see a different Pop as well.
Purdue game.
Purdue
game, and the lights came on, and boom.
Right, and I think he might have put a little too much in that, right?
Yeah.
Coming straight off the hip, and I think you still kind of see his movement. It's still a little laboring, but once he gets his legs under him, I think he's going to be.
Nebraska will bring the juices flowing.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
Oh yeah. I love Ashford though.
What's that?
I love Ashford right now. He's looking great.
He is looking really well.
Really great.
Like I was saying to you, I thought maybe he had a shot at a triple-double there the way he started out.
Yeah.
Because he had 8 quick points. He had 6 rebounds in a row. I think it was almost on 7 possessions. And then, he gets his fair share of assists. Let's just break down the scoring a little bit. So Mason was out tonight with a little bit of I don't know what, we'll ask Lucas exactly what was going on with Mason.
Sure.
So Isaac Trout again got the start. He played 18 minutes. Like I said, for the most part, we kind of struggled from 3. A couple of guys like Isaac and Jackson who could knock down 3-point shooters went 0 for 9. So that's not ever probably going to happen again.
He had 2 rip and goes too that were impressive. That first one was pretty impressive to me. When he just caught it, and got the lay, I was like.
Then I think it was nice 2 possessions later. He's like, I could take it to the hole. All right, here we go. Isaac had 2 rebounds. He had 4 points. Ryan Kalkbrenner had 16 points. I know it hurts his average, right? He's down to like 29.5 now, but 6 of 6 again. Mm-hmm. So that makes it 35 of 38 so far on the season.
Efficiency.
So that's a 95%, something like that. Ashworth, another, like you said, Austin, another solid game. 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 13 points. 6 assists, 1 turnover.
Yep. It sounds very familiar. I'm used to that. Yeah.
Boom, right
I like
there.
That. I like that a lot.
I remember you having a lot of like 8 and 2s, 9 and 1s.
When you're passing to Doug and Iragi and those guys, that was, but yeah, I took care of the basket, so it was fun. It was fun.
Pop tonight, 24 minutes. And again, some of the minutes were limited because of the score, especially after that late first half run, then in the second half. Pop had 6 rebounds, 8 points, 4 assists. He had 4 turnovers tonight, though. That was a little concerning. Jemiah, I thought another pretty good performance by Jemiah. 7 rebounds, 9 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, too.
Yep. I like him in open court.
Yeah. I think Jason really needed that 3 to knock down. His confidence, you could tell, was waning out there. Mm-hmm. That was a big 3 for him to hit. And as we said, we already mentioned it. Fred had a nice game. Double digits, 11 points. So good for him. All right, before we get to Coach's Corner, let's talk about CareMinders Home Health Care, a longtime sponsor of Bluejay Banter and the Bluejay Banter postgame show. When you're in need of care for your injured or ill or senior loved one, reach out to CareMinders Home Health Care. Their agency is comprised of certified caregivers who have many years of experience. You'll receive versatile, flexible, and customized care for your comfort, peace of mind, and well-being. So go to caremindersnebraska.com. You'll find out everything that they have to offer, so when the time comes, you're ready for it. And give a call, too, at 402-532-1383. That's CareMinders Home Health Care. And we're doing a switcheroo here. We're going with Mr. Sami. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you? Good to see you guys.
All right.
Good to see you.
What's up?
I thought you were going to, lay that one in on that pass.
I know. I'll just...
And probably disappoint you. You were set up for a big-time swat.
Yep,
I don't know what happened. What happened there? What did the guy just fumble it in the air when he went
No,
up?
I glassed him. I got a good block on that.
Did you? Okay. I could tell from my angle because you were way up there, and I was like, oh, yeah.
A little help side defense there.
Yeah. I was just telling the listeners, if you're in practice, and I've been to plenty of them, you ever think you'd see a day when Jackson and Isaac combined 0 for 9 from 3?
Oh, absolutely not.
That's crazy,
It happens. Yeah, it happens. They were all good shots, I think, especially in the beginning of the game. They were trying to double Kalkbrenner down low. We were getting open looks, just didn't fall. But I'm very confident that Isaac and Jackson will go better than 0 for 9 from 3. Yeah. So I'm not too worried about that at all.
We were talking about that. So we think that's one of the positives out of this. We've seen 3 totally different defensive philosophies with Kalkbrenner. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
Real Grand was pretty much like, we're just not gonna. We don't want you to shoot 3s.
Right.
So we're gonna they came doubles late, but right. You could tell that wasn't their forte.
Yeah.
And then FDU was somewhere in the middle, and then tonight it was just double right away.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the average player on the opposing team was like 6'3", so I don't really blame him for that.
Yeah.
And I think Coach Mack was kind of ready for that too, and I think we need to be ready and more prepared for that going on in the season.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 49 points the other day against UTRGV, so yeah. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary that they would double him right away and stuff. So we were definitely prepared for that. Like I said, we got great open looks, and Kalkbrenner is ready for that as well. So
yeah. Yeah, I just think it's good for Ryan because he hadn't really, because he's used to seeing that a lot.
Right.
And he hadn't really seen a whole heck of a lot of that,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Coach was just harping on Kalkbrenner, make sure he gets deep pocket passes in the paint because when when he catches a little too high up, it's easier to trap, and then it's harder to see the vision, harder to see the open guys. But if you're down in the paint, it's a little easier to see the whole floor. So that was a little bit something that Kalkbrenner probably will work on down the line. But other than that, I mean, we did a great job with their pressure.
That's a great point, because there was sometimes he was too far out, and then he couldn't do that diagonal, which is usually the guy that's open. Right.
Yeah.
Tell the folks a little bit. I see you guys work so hard in practice.
Yeah.
Because you guys are on scout team.
Yeah.
You're going against these guys every day. Tell a little bit about what your week preparation is like for a game, like, for instance, going from today into Saturday against Kansas City.
Well, it's going to be a 2-day prep. We're going to go over all their plays tomorrow. We show up 30 minutes before practice if you're on the scout team. Go over all the plays, all their actions, their kind of motion stuff, their blobs, their sideline out of bounds, and then make sure to give the first group a good look. Usually you're split up in 2 teams in practice. The first group, max rotation guys, and then obviously the second group, who's the opposing team. How we're preparing, we're preparing and mimicking the opposing teams, actions and defense and whatnot. So yeah, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Obviously, we don't just get on the court and just run our offense. We have to kind of prepare, and Mac's well prepared. I think one of Mac's biggest attributes is his preparation. I think
no doubt.
It's overlooked just because on the court, all the fans don't really see what really goes on in practice. But we watch a lot of film. We hone in on their actions, try to play advantage of basketball as much as we can. So he does a great job of that.
What do you think you learned from today?
To be honest, it was a really ugly game. It was an ugly game. I don't know how many takeaways I could get out of it. It was a little sloppy. But like I said, we're going to make our threes. I think we moved the ball pretty well. We turned it all over in the first half a little bit. And then the younger guys are, getting acclimated. Jackson, Ty, they're learning a lot, but I can see them playing big minutes down the line and important minutes. So, yeah, they're doing a great job right now.
Well, I mean, clearly their strategy was, we're taking it down to 5 seconds on the shot clock every time we got the ball in the first half. I mean, that kind of muddied it up, and then when we couldn't hit some shots, it just got to be.
Yeah, they try to pull a little Villanova on us, where they just walk it down the court, but it's only going to work for the first 5 minutes until we go on a run.
No offense to their coach, but Jay Wright wasn't on the sideline.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So yeah, their offense was in a match. So
I was telling folks before the first game. About Mac's attention to detail. I mean, how many times did remember that first practice at CHI, going over that they're going to shoot threes and they're going to try and go backdoor, and just every blowing the whistle about every other's possession on that practice about, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that, leave the defense to us. You guys have freedom on the offense. We're attention to detail, and you would think, okay, you're playing Rio Grande. How much detail, but Mac's not taking anything for granted.
No, absolutely, it matters. And every game, Mac has kind of key points that we need to hone in on. And I think we've done a great job so far. One of his main focuses is obviously defense. He gives us plenty of freedom on offense to do what we got to do. As long as we're selfless with the ball, then he just lets us play. But on the defensive end, it's we got to run into a T. We got to run those concepts to a T. Be disciplined. Don't let them go outside. Drive baseline. Make sure to funnel it into Kalkbrenner. So all those little things. Don't foul, especially. Obviously, we want to win the free throw battle every game. So don't turn the ball over. All those little things are something that are really important to win the game.
It's nice when you have some Big East officials like you did tonight out there, though. Then they know you guys don't foul. So I think you guys kind of get the. They know you don't foul, so, it can't be a foul then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What's annoying is, sometimes opposing teams and stuff complain about, why is the foul discrepancy? But no, that's something we really focus on, every single day of practice in the summertime. It's one of Mac's greatest pet peeves is fouling and, jumping on shot fakes and, not walling up and being vertical. So it's just, something really important for our program and, part of our identity.
That drives me nuts more than anything fans say. Well, look at the foul discrepancy, 6-1.
Right.
You just homer in that team. No, well, maybe they didn't foul.
Right.
Maybe you fouled a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
exactly.
So, tell the folks a little bit about Jemiah.
Jemiah's figured things out. Jemiah's going to be a great player for Creighton.
I think they're
this year.
seeing flashes here the last couple games.
He is very athletic. I think Jemiah needs to get a little more comfortable within our system, especially offensively. I think defensively he's going to be a pest. He's very lengthy. I think he's going to guard the best perimeter offensive player on the other team. But on offense, he needs to not hesitate, shoot that open catch and shoot shots, and drive. Do what he's best at, and slash and play make in the paint. I think we've seen flashes of that, and I think Jemiah is going to thrive in our transition offense, especially just as you could see, we got a defensive stop, and he just went all the way down for a dunk. Nobody stopped him. Like that's something Jemiah is really good at.
How's school going?
School's great. School is never a problem for me.
Tell folks what you're majoring in.
I did my undergrad in finance, and I'm doing my master's in analytics right now.
Love it.
So everything's good. Yeah.
Analytics.
Yep.
All right. So Sunday, I can call you up, and we can do a little bracketology and look at some of the analytics on these teams.
Let's do it. I'm free. Let's do it. So I love numbers and all that good stuff. School's fun. I put emphasis on school especially.
What non-conference game are you looking forward to the most?
Non-conference, I don't know. I'm excited for Vegas. I think Nebraska will be fun too, but I think I'm really excited for Vegas. I think that's when the real challenges will start.
Yeah.
Right now we're kind of playing mid-major teams and getting tested a little bit, but once those real teams start coming, like Texas A&M's, and I don't know if we're playing Oregon still.
Yeah, it depends on.
Yeah,
we could.
right.
We might not.
And all those
but we could play
San Diego State.
We could play Houston or Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
We could play Alabama twice.
Yeah, in a week and a half span?
Yeah.
So
crazy.
That'll be exciting. We'll have a very tough
then you
non-conference.
got a team like Kansas coming into that.
Yeah. Yeah, you watched the game yesterday?
Yeah.
It was all right.
Yeah.
They played all right.
Yeah. I think we'd be all right, though.
Yeah, I think we'll take care of them.
What conference game? I think that's probably an easy one.
What conference game?
Yeah.
My favorite, it's UConn. I enjoy beating them. we beat them more than we lose to them.
I love it.
So yeah, of course it's UConn, and you got to be UConn.
When you go on the road, what city or arena or whatever combined? What's your favorite going on the road?
I don't have a favorite, but I'm from the Chicago suburb area.
Oh.
And I really enjoy beating up on DePaul every year. It just brings joy to me. So
in front of that huge crowd.
In front of the huge crowd, right?
It's mostly Jays fans.
Yeah, it's mostly Jays fans, and then not many DePaul Blue Demon fans. But.
Sammy, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
You guys for having us.
Thank you, Sam.
Yep, thank
Sammy's
you. Thank you.
appearance was sponsored by Discount Windows and Door of Omaha. Check them out. They will just enhance your home's beauty, comfort, and energy efficiency. Trust the experts of the best window company in Omaha. They have a commitment to excellence that's second to none. They have a wide range of products, and I think we can show an example at my house, what they did recently with the windows, the old, chipped, cracked ones on the left, and the brand new, spanking, shiny ones on the right. And I can tell my efficiency, my heating and air efficiency has already improved a ton. So check them out. That's Discount Window and Door of Omaha, locally family-owned, 402-884-8989. That's 402-884-8989. And now it's time for Coach's Corner. Video coordinator Lucas Vargas with us once again. How you doing, buddy?
Great to be here.
We were chatting earlier. What kind of challenges is there when you're playing a team like Houston Christian, who's only had 2 games? You can't really. It's a totally different style. I mean, with their height issues, what do you look for?
No, it's definitely hard, and really all the early games that you play are kind of like that, especially now with so much player movement, and you got new rosters, new coaches. So even last year's film doesn't really matter on a lot of these teams. We're able to trade a little bit of scrimmage tape as well, so we have a couple more games to look at. But yeah, it's really hard because you don't really know what their end goal is down the road, obviously, and you have so many guys that come from Division II or junior college,
Sure.
high school, other schools. So honestly, from a player perspective, it probably is a bigger challenge sometimes to scout these games than when you get to conference play, where you really know those teams really well. The rotations are whittled down. They're running their pretty consistent offense and defense, and and early in the season you got to focus also with just the focus on you're playing a team that is a smaller school, and it's as a player you got to show up locked in, focused, ready to go, because you never know what can happen.
Yeah, I think of when we played Kansas, they've seen Pop plenty, but they haven't seen him in our system. So
Right.
It's a totally different deal for them. They can't just go by what his tendencies may have been at Texas Tech,
Yeah, and I mean, by the time we play Kansas, you're talking about they've played against probably 3 or 4 high major opponents. We've played against probably 3 or 4 high major opponents, and
there's different.
You're going to know each other pretty well by that time, and the guys know the players. They played each other in high schools plenty of times, and it's definitely different.
How much time do you have to peek ahead? You go home at night and Kansas is on or Nebraska's on.
Try and watch a couple games. Just keep your pulse on college basketball in general, because down the road, obviously, you're going to play teams that you've never seen before in tournament. But yeah, especially if you know that they're on your schedule. Like even San Diego State or Texas A&M, Houston, Rutgers, Notre Dame, some of those kinds of teams that we could see down the road. Like, you try not to have them on in the background, just to at least keep an eye on them, and then you dive in for real, when it comes to it.
So you don't sit down with a notepad when you're at home?
I'm not at that point, no. But, when you get to it, you dive in.
Come on, Lucas. We're 24/7, buddy. He does a fantastic job. You'll hear Mac sing his praises a ton.
You use Synergy a lot?
Synergy and Huddle, yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dive in, man.
Yep. No, that's fair.
It's amazing.
Makes the job a little bit easier, I would assume.
It's amazing the resources that we have at our disposal from a video and a stat standpoint to really dive into teams. And, like I said earlier, at the beginning of the year, it's hard. But when you get down into, January and February especially, like, just the amount of resources that all teams have to study each other, it's pretty incredible. And there's really no stone unturned because of that.
Yeah. Do you get stuff ready, and just so the fans understand, because I don't think we talked about this last year, do you get stuff ready like for tomorrow for the film session?
Yep. So tonight the game ended, and we've got everything ready to go on Kansas City for Saturday. So they're the film for the coaches to watch, and then we'll cut it down tomorrow a little bit more for the players. But every one of their plays is put together so that coach can slide through that real quick, and obviously watch full games too. And then, we're always working a game or two ahead. So always trying to stay ahead of where we're actually at.
Do the coaches take care of tonight then, like for tomorrow, for improvement purposes?
Yeah. Coach will watch the game and he'll take his notes, and then we'll like tomorrow's film session, we'll probably have a review of this game, and then we'll turn the page.
But they will reach out to you and say, hey, we need these 8 clips or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Kind of get the list of them and then go pull them out and get to it. Yep.
Does it jump out at you too? Like sometimes when you're going back through it, from tonight's game tomorrow, and do you kind of say, oh man, and now that I see it this way, I see what happened.
Yeah, it's really interesting. As this is my second year in this position on the staff. Like, just starting to really see it from coach's point of view, and you get his notes page for every game, and you're like, yep, that's what he's looking for, and that's how he's gonna look at that possession, and so you kind of start to see the game through his eyes more and more, which that's not a bad guy to learn from and see the game through his point of view.
What's it? He played with one of those guys. What's it like having Jahens and Mitch together?
Oh, it's great. I mean, from a player standpoint, to be able to turn to those guys and ask questions, and I think have those guys that can really relate to them. They've been in their position, obviously, but they also knew the offense at a very high level, and defensively we've changed a little bit since they've been here. But those guys are smart dudes, and they've played a lot of basketball combined, and they have a lot of experiences through the game that they can share down about what it's like after college. And I think all that comes together, and I think the players have a lot of respect for those two guys, and it's just been really, really great to have those guys, and for me to learn from them too, because they offer a lot of perspective that I've never considered. I wasn't a player, and yeah, I think we all appreciate what they bring on a daily basis.
All right, we usually give an uneducated 2-sentence preview of the team to come, but we got the expert here. So Kansas City, look, a team you can't overlook. They were favored to win the Summit.
Yep, they sure were.
Now they just played Iowa State, so that's probably going to help you guys a little bit, right?
Yep, yeah, good game to watch, especially, we scrimmaged Iowa State early on, so, you can kind of compare some things. But really good team, like you said, picked to win the Summit League. I think they have really talented players, Jamar Brown and the other guys they have on their starting lineup. I think all of them are guys we got to respect, and they run some good actions that we got to be ready for. And on 2 days, this is where, as a player, you got to come tomorrow, late night, game ends. You got to come back and be ready to learn a completely new scouting report, because things are going to change. Personnel is going to change, the actions and everything.
What do they do differently that you've seen on film from them?
Well, they have more of a post presence, I would say. And Houston Christian switched a lot, which is good for us to practice against. We'll see that later on. So they won't switch probably quite as much, but they still will a little bit. And then just having to guard some more dynamic guards. Like I said, the talent to be picked first in the Summit League, that's not a bad conference. It's produced some good players, some good transfers that have gone up. So they obviously have some talent on their team that is respected in their league. And having to really, I think, pay attention to the personnel on that, and respect the keys for each guy, because this is your last chance to focus on that and prepare for Power 5 level games. So we have to take it very seriously, respect our opponent, and get better.
I think I like the way the schedule breaks out till you play these 4, then you have a whole week off for Nebraska.
Yeah, probably it'd be a good opportunity after that to work on ourselves and get ready for Nebraska, obviously, but like I said, we just got to focus on the scout at hand while it comes, and just focus on getting better and whatever keys to the scout that presents.
Well, Lucas, we really appreciate you being with us, and your appearance is sponsored by CareMinders, CareMinders Home Health Care, CareMindersNebraska.com. Give them a call, 402-532-1383. When you're in need of care for your injured, ill, or senior loved one, reach out to CareMinders Home Health Care, and they will do everything for you and take care of your loved one, and you will have great peace of mind. So check them out, CareMindersNebraska.com. It's 402-532-1383. Want to thank Lucas and Sami for being here. Now we got Unsung Hero. It's a tough one tonight. I was going to go Gregory, but then, he's kind of got double figures, but we can amend that if that's the thing. Or who do you have?
I guess he didn't get it. Jemiah. I was going to say Jemiah, but he's at 9. So, Frederick King. I'll go Frederick King.
Frederick King?
I like Frederick King.
Yeah.
He had a decent game.
Good to see him have some run out there.
Yeah. I think fans have kind of been messing him a little bit.
I think you have to, if you saw him on his first time he hit the hardwood to tonight, the growth in him is tremendous.
Absolutely. And I think he showed spurts, early on, and I think we never got to see it. And then when he did, his rhythm and timing were always off.
How many times, tonight, those passes would have gone through his hands?
Right.
B, the footwork underneath to spin and get that open dunk.
I think he just, the pace of play is just, he's catching up, right?
Yep,
and
absolutely.
I think, playing against Kalkbrenner, you kind of have to learn a little faster.
We had an unconventional worst call of the night last time.
Right.
We're going to have another one tonight.
What you got?
The kid from Lincoln that went in and thought he was going to do a 2-hand jam and got rejected.
That's fair. He came home and, that's fair.
Yeah,
he wanted to do something at home.
You could just see him, like his eyes got big. Oh, my gosh, I'm going to go in. And there's no way that guy's way over. There's no way he can touch me. Yeah. And it is fun in these first 4 games, the first 3 so far, but to see guys like tonight, even a couple times the guards are like, he's dribbling out on this guy. I can score off him.
Absolutely.
And they step back, like on the one step back, he was like, you could just see he was so confident.
That 3 from the corner?
Yeah, and next thing the ball is straight up in the air.
Yep.
And they're probably like, wow.
Yep.
The dude gets
He covers space pretty
ground
pretty quickly.
Yep, so that's your worst call tonight going in for that 2-hand.
I like that. I like that, though.
It wasn't a bad call. Probably against 95% of the players in Division I, he's going to dunk that.
Yeah. He was in his home state, though, so I'll give him, I'll give him some props.
Probably had a lot of family and friends here tonight.
He had some extra energy.
Yeah. All right, up next, as we said, is Saturday. We take on Kansas City. Now, you may remember them, UMKC, but now it's Kansas City. It's Omaha. They go by those names. It's on FS2 on Saturday, 6 o'clock. So it's an early Saturday night game. Those are usually great crowds. So I'm looking forward to it. As I said, as Lucas said, really good team out of the Summit League. They haven't been up toward the top of the league for a long, long time. So this is kind of new territory for them. So, we're used to thinking Summit League, South Dakota State, right?
Right.
North Dakota State sometimes, Oral Roberts. So that's the kind of mindset we got to have, a team like that. And
Absolutely.
like Lucas said, a really good guard presence and a lot of size inside. So this is like the perfect flow. We saw a team that just shot threes. We saw a team tonight very undersized, but like to come with the doubles on defense. And then we saw a Fairleigh Dickinson team somewhere in the middle. And now we're going to see a totally advanced in talent, I will say, team, and that's more well-rounded. So it's been a nice progression here. And obviously, I don't know that we've really would you say we really like hit our stride? Like Sami was saying, the game was kind of ugly tonight.
Right.
The first game we had a lot of defensive breakdowns. Second game was better, but I don't think scratched. We haven't looked anywhere near like we did against Purdue.
Absolutely not. I think we ceiling's very high, and I just think we keep getting off to some slow starts.
I've noticed that.
And I think that's too. Ball's kind of sticking a little bit, and like I said, we're just not hitting some driving gaps and lanes, and people are more or less looking around and trying to wait for that shot. But I think that also helped too with the double tonight with Clark. Since we're not getting downhill, just throw it inside. They'll commit. Yeah. Now you're shooting workout threes.
And look, Pop and I think Isaac had one, and Steven had. I mean, those first three go down, then
right.
The whole strategy could change, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, like you said, we're getting off to kind of these slow starts. We have knocked some of those down early, and I think back to that Purdue exhibition game where Pop came out.
Yep.
I think he made his first four,
Yep.
and that just changed the whole trajectory of the game. So
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can get that going and get ready for Nebraska, who took care of Fairleigh Dickinson tonight. I'll get you a score here in a second. They were up by about 18 late, and the Huskers ended up winning that game 86-60.
Good for them.
If you're gambling out there,
Great for them.
FDU covered by 2 points. There you go.
Gotcha.
I think if you had, I made the call on this one. I made
What's
the call.
that?
I said Seton Hall is going to be the last place team in the Big East. Everybody looked at me. You're crazy.
Oh.
They lost again tonight to Hofstra. 49-48. You think our game was ugly? 49-48.
It's a low scoring game there.
So they're 1-2 on the season, and they have not
Played.
They played the competition we played, basically.
Understood.
Yeah. So that's this. I don't know that there's been more upsets, but I think there's been more teams in this non-conference so far than most years that have struggled. Like, especially in the Big East. I mean, Villanova's lost a couple. Now, again, I keep telling people, the game the other night to St. Joe's. St. Joe's is probably a better team than Villanova's. St. Joe's is very good. St. Joe's got a chance to get an at-large bid this year. I mean, that's how good they are.
Sure.
But Seton Hall has lost a couple. Providence has not looked good a couple games.
Yeah.
So Xavier hasn't really looked all that great. They've kind of been like us, got off some slow starts, just never really got it going. So the two teams that have been pretty good. Marquette had kind of a sluggish game last game, but the two teams that have been pretty good from start to finish so far, UConn has been really good. Marquette's been that way for the most part, except for one game, and then St. John's was until tonight. Tonight they struggled a little bit. So, it's been that way all across the country. Illinois had a close game tonight against Oakland. I mean,
I think the portal has something to say with that, right?
I would agree.
I think talent's kind of stretching, and we're not seeing as lopsided as it used to be.
Yeah, and I think not only that, the good teams have got guys from the portal.
Right.
Chemistry just not there yet.
Absolutely.
And here comes these guys from these mid-major conferences who have all 4 of the 5 starters back. Boom.
Absolutely.
We used to see that. Did you get to play summer league when you were here?
I did.
They have summer league?
I did.
You remember that? Like you guys would have a good, players there. Creighton would have a couple teams.
Right.
Nebraska would have a couple teams. But then the team that would always win would be like Peru State or somebody because all 5 of their players get to play together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's just that really. I remember watching that going. So chemistry is important.
Yes. That's an important piece to the puzzle.
But anyway, we'll be right back here on Saturday. I think I'm going to be joined by my other partner on the weekly show on Bluejay Banter, Ross Ferrarini. I want to mention something though, real quick, and we'll talk more about it on Saturday. we're going to have a special event this next Thursday night, a week from tomorrow. It's going to be at the Infusion Brewing Company out on 6271 118th Street, Southwest Omaha. We're going to have an event out there. We're going to do a live YouTube show from there, so you'll be able to watch it if you're from out of town. If you're from in town, you can follow us on Twitter at Bluejay Banter. Tomorrow, you'll get more of the details. We're going to have a player, I don't know, guy might be first team All-American, come out with us. Hopefully have some coaches there. So I think you're going to enjoy it. Infusion has a great product, so you'll be able to come out there. We're going to have some specials. We're going to have some giveaways. We're going to have tons of stuff. So be looking for more information for that on Twitter tomorrow and throughout the week. And then also we'll talk more about it on Saturday. So that's a big event. We're really excited about it. And so far the interest to it's been off the charts. So when you see that tomorrow, when you get the information on how to, quote unquote, sign up to go to that, you'll see the information tomorrow at Bluejay Banter on the Twitter account and also on Facebook as well. But anyway, Saturday, 6 o'clock, as we mentioned, against Kansas City, a really good team. And it's our last tune-up.
Yes, sir.
Before Big Red comes rolling in.
I think we're just ready to, get this thing going.
Again, this guy had one of the best wins we ever had over Nebraska. The year without, when Doug left.
Yeah. Yeah.
That had to be incredibly satisfying for you guys.
I mean, we had gotten off to a pretty great start.
Yeah.
There was some inner turmoil that kind of, shifted us a different way. But, yeah, we were playing well at the beginning of the year.
But that year, Nebraska, they were supposed to have a unbelievable team, and that kind of sent them in a different direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they had a good run the year before in the NCAA tournament. They played in San Antonio, too. Yeah. So, anyway, that comes up on Friday the 22nd. And then we're off to Vegas. So, there we go. Our wonderful intern, Max, is here watching the show. Hi, Max. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Max.
Max has been doing a super job. He's got us all lined up for Vegas, so we're excited about that. So, anyway, we'll see you on Saturday. Check us out on all podcasts. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can get this show. So, thank you very much. We'll see you.